I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 171, the E3 special day 3 spectacular. Just a reminder before we start that you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. Check out all the fine podcasts featured on there if you're looking for more gaming goodness. I'm your host, Dave Rotino. This is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
I should change my name to Dan. I've been up all night watching conferences over and over again. Robinson.
I am in that same boat. I am in that same lifeboat with you. It has been a wild ride. Last day of conferences, right?
Last day of conferences, and I think we went out with a bang.
Yeah, spoilers.
Today was awesome.
I think it was the best. So we have the Square-Enix conference, we have the Kind of Funny Games conference or showcase, I guess, and the Nintendo Direct. Their conference isn't a conference; it's a direct. And I think without further ado, we should get right into it.
Let's just talk about Square-Enix, okay? Let's start with them. They had the slot that Sony usually has, like 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday. So Sony's gone. They're not here. They didn't make a surprise appearance, a surprise state of play, which I was kind of holding out hope for, right? At some point,
you wanted them to kind of get in there real sneak-alike and, hey guys, PS5, boom, and then drop the mic and walk off stage. But they didn't.
That Death Stranding news would have did really good in the middle somewhere today, right? Like that would have been awesome.
And
if we would
what else would they have? I don't know what else they could have put in there.
Well, just to stay in the zeitgeist to the E3, right? They just put out a little state of play.
It definitely kind of I totally forgot. I mean, I didn't really forget, but I kind of forgot that Sony was a presence because there was so much talk about everything else. Here's these big AAA third-party companies. Here's the big Microsoft conference. Here's the big Nintendo conference. Here's Final Fantasy VII. Oh my God, so much.
Last year, Square-Enix sort of had a Square-Enix Direct, right? But this time they did it in front of a live crowd in a small auditorium.
Yeah,
it was cool, and they started off. We got more Final Fantasy VII Remake.
They came out with the haymaker, baby. Everybody, that's what everybody was there for. Yep.
A longer trailer of the first, the opening scene and that first boss battle, right?
Yep.
Where they set the bomb and then the big spider comes out and they gotta face it. So I thought that was awesome. It's more action RPG than turn-based, right?
Oh,
which is up my alley. It is
100% action RPG. They did say that, and the guy who was doing the the narration of the fight was very. He made it a strong point to hit certain words, right? The ATB gauge, right? Active time battle. So there are ways to slow it down, right? You can use your ATB to go into slow mode, and then you have a little more time to kind of plan things out, but. In general, it's going to be, running around action style. It looks like you can switch between characters, right? They had Barrett. They had a Cloud. It looked like you were controlling each one individually. I think you can kind of swap between them, which is super cool. The boss battles are crazy. You saw that the giant scorpion monster was jumping all over the walls. That's incredible.
And then they sort of have like a gauge, right? Like at the bottom of the
Well, that's the
character
ATB,
where
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you
I
have
think
to
so,
build
yeah.
that
There's
up,
the
and
ATB,
then
and then there's also like a limit break gauge, too, which I think is different.
But they showed more characters than just that, right? They showed other. They went a little bit further and showed a bunch of other a female character.
Yeah. So Tifa and Eris were shown. There was some fighting with Tifa, so you saw that. You saw a little bit with Eris. I'm not sure if you saw fighting with Eris, but she was definitely there in kind of some of the cutscenes and whatnot. You get a little more footage of that. All of these characters, these like 4 characters, are basically the characters you get all the way through Midgar. You do get Red 13, the giant wolf. He's a talking wolf. You basically get him right before you break out of Midgar. And then those are like your 5, and then there's up to 4 other characters that you can get a little bit later on. So, they can't necessarily show too much more than that because it looks like this is gonna be episodic, right? They kind of made it a point to say you're gonna get to explore all of Midgar, and that'll be kind of the first set of content that comes out.
So they didn't get into any detail about like how episodic it will be, like if we're gonna get how many episodes or anything, but they did specify that the Blu-ray disc, the PS4, because this is going to be console exclusive to PS4, I think on PC, that it will be 2 Blu-ray discs. So
yeah, so to put
that's a big thing.
To put that in context, right? The first game was 3 CDs. Each CD is 650 megs, right? So that puts you at about close to 2 gigs. Blu-ray disc is about 25 gigs, a single layer Blu-ray disc, if I remember correctly. You get 2 of those. If they're 2 single layer discs, that's 50 gigs of storage, right? If that's 2 discs, 50 gigs just for the Midgar area, which was like maybe 3/4 of the first disc, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know how they're going to fill all that up. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of high-res video. Yet to be seen. They did say, I think you were kind of quick to point out before we went on the mics, that they're going to be fleshing out Midgar so you can do like a lot more in that initial area, right? Before you like break out and go into like the real world.
So I look at it as more of, this is a quarter of what you know plus a bunch of new content, right? Mm-hmm. So if you've never played Final Fantasy VII, and I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan at all, but Final Fantasy VII was my first Final Fantasy game I've ever played.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
It's the longest Final Fantasy game I've ever played. That and 15 were the only ones I've ever really played.
Yep.
So if you've never played it, they're saying it's okay because they're going to expand upon that section of the world to where I'm assuming it's new content, right? So it's going to be brand new content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we even have a price. I don't think you can pre-order it, but it's
no, you can. You can.
It's $60.
It's
$60, right?
bucks. $60 for the pre-order, which gets you 2 discs. There's a
because there's a massive special edition with the cloud on.
There's like 2 of them. There is one for $80, which has. I think like the art book, and it also has like a CD soundtrack and maybe like 1 or 2 other things, some in-game content. That's a very good value for $20. Then for $330, you basically get a giant figurine of Cloud on the Harley, which is funny because they did make one of these beforehand for like around the time of Final Fantasy VII. They made one about the same size. So now there is yet another version of this to come out. It does look beautiful. I don't know if it's $330 beautiful.
I'm not spending $330 on that.
Well, no. I know you wouldn't shell out for that. But me, as a huge Final Fantasy fan, I'm still thinking about it.
You're debating.
I'm very much debating.
I went on in your head right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I went on as soon as they said we have a special edition with the Cloud Strife statue. I said, let me see how much it goes for. 120, maybe even upwards of 200. I probably just would have pulled the trigger. 330 is, it's a lot.
You can, let's put this in context. Let's put this in some perspective. You can either get the game in a Cloud statue on a motorcycle, or you can get a Switch.
Yeah, or I could get a Switch. You were correct. I get a whole entire game console, or I could get Final Fantasy VII and Cloud on a bike. That is a very good point, Dan. That's a very good point.
Well, you get it. Well, no, because the Switch is cheaper.
Well, that's true. That's true. And you know,
so you can get a game.
My Switch is making some noise. My Switch is making some noise too. So, like, yeah, I think like the motors are a little bit janked. So I don't know. So you make a good point. Very good point.
All right, so we got the release date finally. It's coming out March 3rd, 2020.
Yep.
And this will be a theme. This is going to be a theme. This E3 of either September or early 2020, Christmas 2.
Yep.
Is going to be jam packed. I think 2020 is going to be a huge year. Maybe the best year in gaming. We'll see.
Well, like a couple more things on the Final Fantasy. I'm a little bit concerned about the pricing scheme because they did say ages ago that it's going to be episodic. They didn't necessarily 100% verify that, hey, it's episodic, you're only going to get this much and there's going to be more. There's talk of you having to pay for more content, you know, because the game, if it's just Midgar, it is definitely incomplete. It is maybe a fourth of the game total, right? That came out way back in 96, 97. If they do charge you for each new piece, like, and it's a full $60 for each, I'm going to be a little salty. I got to tell you.
All right. Let me play devil's advocate for a second. So they said, you know, like, let's just say that's true. This game is only maybe a quarter of what the original game was, right? As far as what you know. Okay. Let's just say that piece right there was only $20.
Yeah.
Okay. They're adding so much more content. What if they would have said, here's what you know, only what you know, a quarter of the game, but then here are 4 DLC packs, $10 each, exploring Midgard with different missions, new bosses, new enemy types, new story, all brand new content at $10 a piece. That would equal $60. To me, they just said, you know what? Screw it. We're not gonna put out DLC. We just put out a brand new game. This is a brand new game with a quarter of it you already know. So in my eyes, I mean, and this all depends on how much new content they put there, how much of Midgar we get to explore and is new that wasn't in the original game.
Yeah, I
would say this is worth it.
I like the idea of it. I honestly don't think they can add an incredible amount of new content because, like, it's still an RPG. They still have to hit all the story notes, right? The more content you put in there, which means the more enemies you fight, and then you're going to be leveling up, like, as you go through. You know, they have that kind of progression. So that's something to consider, you know?
Well, what if they put out it in 4 parts, 4 episodic parts, and each part is sort of a standalone game, right? So if you've never played Final Fantasy VII and you beat Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first release, right? It's standalone game, right? It's if you've never played it, the story is done.
It would be
for someone new.
It would be very disjointed. It would basically be season 1, and then you'd have to play season 2, 3, and 4. You'd have to play them in order. It doesn't lend itself to that.
It's like Star Wars, where, you know,
you got to see the first one to know what's going on in the second one.
It's like Star Wars, where episode 4 came out right first, but then we got the prequels. We got episode 1, 2, and 3, and they were all standalone movies. To where that could have been it technically, right?
Well, right. I mean, you could go in not seeing 4, 5, and 6, but you couldn't go in seeing 5 without seeing 4. Right? That's what I'm saying. On the scale of a trilogy, sure, Final Fantasy is huge, right? You can consider the stuff that they have now like Episode 4, but if you said I don't want to play that, I want to play the second part of it, right? It's not gonna fly. You'd have to have leveled up characters already. You'd have to, and you wouldn't know what's going on in the story. Like you'd be right in the middle of like this giant epic battle with like Sephiroth.
episode. Final Fantasy VII, the first disc could be Episode 4. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to play. You got to play this to play the second episodic release. That's probably going to be out on next gen at some point.
It's like taking. Okay, I can go ahead and put it into terms that you can understand. It's like taking Uncharted, the first 4 levels of Uncharted, and making that its own thing. And then levels 4 through 8 or 5 through 8 is the next chunk, right? And if you just start off at level 5, you're not going to have any clue what's going on, right? Because there was all that story building.
My whole point is you like we know. Like I use the Star Wars analogy because we know what happens, right? Like when we see Episode 1, we already know what happens. How we know how we get to Episode 4. We just haven't seen it. We know this little kid is going to be Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Right. So, but Episode 1 is a standalone movie in itself. And if that's it, that's it.
You're right. Well,
so I think
episode 1 isn't necessarily because it still has more of a story to tell. Like I guess,
does, but then when you get to Episode 2, my point is you already played the game and did you beat Final Fantasy VII?
I beat it many times over.
Okay, all right. So you already beat it, so you already know the story. Yeah. I'm just saying they could have made it in the way to where they could have flipped it to where we're going to take a piece of this story and then we're going to rework it and add new things to it to make it a standalone game for people who've never played it. So someone like me who comes in and who's never beaten Final Fantasy VII, I barely remember the 5-6 hours I put into it when I was a kid. I'm going to be like, if I beat Final Fantasy VII March 3rd, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, that was done. That was good. It took me 30 hours. And then you're going to say, no, there's more. And then you're going to say, no, there's, and you're going to say, no, there's more to this story. They switched it in a way to it's more to the story. You don't know about it.
Here's the thing you have to understand. And one of the other things I wanted to bring up is that the fans are fickle as fuck. The Final Fantasy VII is probably one of the most revered, most treasured games of fans like ever. I would put it like top 3. Like I'm not saying it's the one of the top 3 games of all time. Oh, it is very good, but fans love this. Fans are like crazy. They do backflips over this game. They've been waiting so long for this. If they tinker too much with the story and the gameplay and the whatever else, because fans are already upset that it's not turn-based combat, that it's not the old style. Like they're up in arms over that, and I'm like, I think it's a great addition, but there's like that. If they mess with the story too much, then fans are going to be upset, and there's not really a good way. It's not really a good way to like end it. Like even like Episode 1 still, you know there's like more to tell, right? You haven't beaten the boss of the game. The good guys haven't won technically, right? So it's basically going to be cliffhanger at the end of this set of content if it's not the full game, which it seems like it's not. And then there's going to be more TBD if there's going to be a price to it. I don't know. I certainly hope not. Certainly hope that there's not going to be an additional $60 price tag to it.
Well, we will see. Mm-hmm. March 3rd, I will be picking this up.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get this PC or PS4?
Is it also coming to the PC?
I could have sworn it.
I'm pretty sure it's just PS4 PC. Right now.
It's just PS4.
Yeah,
it was PC and PS4.
There were other Final Fantasies coming to the PC for sure, but I'm pretty sure this was just PS4 for now. Things could definitely change.
Well, I'm definitely picking this up. I'm going to pick it up because it was the only Final Fantasy game I ever knew. I didn't get into any of the other ones.
Well, there you go. So you won't be heartbroken by any of the changes they make. Everything.
I will not be heartbroken. I will be impressed. If anything, I'll be more inclined to play it.
Right. I think you're going to like it. I mean, like the story is great. The story is great. I know the combat mechanics, the gameplay of the original 7 wasn't necessarily your cup of tea, but it is a very good story, and there's a lot to digest in the game.
You know what? You know what I might do, and I was thinking about this when I was after the conference. I might play the remake and the original back to back, like side by side.
Oh shoot! There you go, to see the differences. Yeah,
see the differences. Yeah. All right. I'm definitely getting that. A game that I definitely want to get that I haven't picked up. They showed more of Life is Strange 2.
Mm-hmm. How did you like the reveal of it? The trailer that they had with all the YouTube celebrities with their reactions and all that.
All the Twitch streamers and all the emotional reactions. It was okay. I mean, I knew. I mean, it reinforced something that I thought the game was more about. Like, I thought this was a game that they were going to pull on my heartstrings. I mean, it does seem to lend this, one of the main characters, maybe someone dying, but you don't know who, right? The way everyone's crying and
something real emotional, right? Usually a death is involved.
And I played the original. I played the Life is Strange 1 and the prequel. I have the special editions, and both those games were fantastic, and I recommend you buy it and play it. At least the first. I have the first
one. I just haven't played it yet.
You got to play.
I went out and bought it on your recommendation, brand new, and I haven't gotten around to playing it.
You don't have to get the prequel. If you do want to play it in order, you get the prequel and then play that, beat that, and then play Life is Strange 1.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, if you want to play in a chronological order.
No. I mean, I'd rather play the first one first. In the order that they came out.
And honestly, the first one, it ends with a decision you have to make that really plugged on my heartstrings, just like The Walking Dead season 1.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
So, I couldn't really get into Life is Strange 2. I played maybe an hour of the first episode, and they really didn't capture me. Being, like Life is Strange 1, you're, again, just to sort of recap, I don't want to dwell on it, but you made friends in this town. You moved away when you were younger. You're back now in college, and everything's changed. Everyone's changed. You don't have any friends. You're sort of an outcast, kind of a nerd, and you're trying to fit in. Right, and I can relate to that. That was me when I was younger.
Yeah. I know you were like crazy about it, and you kind of hit that point. A lot of times with me, are like, look, you're gonna love it because we kind of grew up in the same way, being big into the nerd culture and all that. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, because I just thought it was kind of like a puzzle adventure narrative game. I didn't realize it had like all this other stuff to it, and I'm like, oh, it's like really cool. I think what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna play it this week. I think I'm seriously gonna play it this week. So
awesome. So you have a superpower in that. In all these games, you have a superpower, and it's like you could stop time and stuff like that. In this one, it looks like it looks like the little kid, the little brother. In this one, you have a little brother, and you're on the run for whatever reason, I don't know, because I didn't finish episode 1. And the little brother, you're trying to sort of be a mentor or father to the little brother who has a mutant power. It looks like he really needs Professor X in his life, honestly, because he can move objects and with his mind. So looks like a little boy, probably Jean Grey's little cousin, for all I know. I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to wait until a physical edition is released.
I understand. Well, you also want to get like I don't. Is it all of the episodes, or are they still putting more out?
I think they released all of the episodes.
Okay, so it's complete, but it's not physical.
I think they released all episodes. Yes. It is. I'm just gonna wait until I get the disc, until the physical release. Yeah. And hopefully they have a cool special edition with art book, and I can put it next to Life is Strange 1 and the prequel.
Hey man, so sometimes it's worth waiting. Like I didn't pick up Blaster Master Zero because you were like, they're going to do a physical. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think they're going to do a physical. I figured they would have had it by now. And they finally announced it yesterday. I was like, oh, yay! Now I get to buy it.
I knew it. Now I get to buy it and play it again.
Yeah, right. It was only a couple
So-
bucks though, so.
So I'm gonna wait. Well, it was like $10, something like that. I mean, you could definitely buy it now. It's on sale, the digital version. So I'm definitely gonna wait until this comes physical edition. But we got more Final Fantasy news. More Final Fantasy. So this was like I thought this was like the Final Fantasy conference, to be honest. We got Crystal Chronicles. It's now coming out on mobile.
Yep.
Oh, Crystal Chronicles. This originally was. When did this originally come out?
It was a GameCube title, and the interesting thing about this game originally was you could play with up to 4 friends, and you could use 4 GBAs with 4 GBA link cables, and the GBAs had you could use them as a second screen, and they'd have extra info on there. So it was a 4-player action RPG. It was pretty solid, if not expensive, to get this whole setup going. But very, very different than the other Final Fantasy games. But still good. It got pretty good reviews. They made a couple other ones, I think, for DS and 3DS maybe. Now we have Crystal Chronicles for mobile, so I'm definitely going to give this a try. The visuals did look awesome. I fear microtransactions, but we'll see. We'll see.
But I know you were excited about this. As soon as I saw it, I knew you're gonna be crazy over this. I forgot if this is your favorite game of all time or not. But Final Fantasy VIII is being remastered.
Oh yeah, 8? No. 6 is the one, man. 6 is the one.
I always forget which one you.
Everybody says 7. They're wrong. It's 6. It's fine.
It's
you
7.
can be wrong. You can
It's
be
7.
wrong. 7 is good. 8 was kind of 8 and 2 are really regarded as the most hated. They were not great. Well, 8
Which one was online? Wait, which one was online?
11 and 14 were the ones that were online.
Okay.
Right? 9 was great because it was a return to form. They brought the crystals back. It was the old school art style. They got a mono to do the art again. It was real heavy high fantasy. 8 was way too futuristic. It was a little bit weird. There's a limited set of characters, technically only 6 characters in the game. It was very grindy. One thing that they did, it's the same thing they did in Oblivion, is the monsters would scale up with you, right? So even the enemies you fought in the beginning of the game would technically be more powerful when you came back to fight them again, which is a little weird. They never did it again, so shows how well that worked out. It's not a bad game by any means, and they are redoing it. It is definitely a remake. The visuals, if you compare them to the OG PlayStation ones, it's good. It's not 7 remake level, but they do look really good. And they made some modifications, I think, to the gameplay. They're taking a lot of the stuff that they put into the Steam port to make the game a little bit more accessible and less grindy. So that's good. Maybe some extra content in the game as well. Who knows? But I'm kind of hyped. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully, there's a physical coming.
And then you're a big Dragon Quest fan. Right?
I do love Dragon Quest.
And you have Dragon Quest 11 on a PS4.
I do have the PS4 version. It's solid. Now
solid.
we have the Switch version coming, which is awesome.
And it's coming this fall.
Yeah.
And something that I was hyped about, and I'm not a big Dragon Quest fan, but I did get into Dragon Quest Builders. Okay, I have the original Dragon Quest Builders on the PS4. I played a bunch of it. I have to get back to it. I haven't beaten it. And now Dragon Quest Builders 2 finally has a release date, PS4 and the Switch, coming out July 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up playing this at the Penny Arcade Expo, right?
Yes.
A couple months ago. It was really fun. Visuals look great. Are you going to get this for the Switch or the PS4? That's the question.
Because I haven't finished the PS4 version, and I don't know when I will. I do want to. I think I may pick it up on the Switch. And everything let me preface by saying this. All of my Switch purchases are contingent on that stupid bar at the top that says download. So if I gotta download anything, right? Any extra stuff? If I gotta definitely have to. If I can't just play it out the gate and I gotta download half the game, I'm not buying it on the Switch.
Right. It defeats the purpose of buying physical, right?
It's half physical, half digital.
Right. Doesn't make any sense, man. Like I know that they only have so much space on the disc, and I think sometimes that's an issue.
They can spend a little bit more money for a bigger disc.
You would think, right? You know how much
we pay
much
the Switch tax anyway. Why can't they do
I know, man. I know. It can't be that much more. So
I don't know. I don't know if you love the music of Final Fantasy or just in
come
general
on, Dad.
Square
Come
Enix
on,
games.
Dad. That's half the secret sauce right there.
But
Actually, most of the music is composed by Nobuo Uematsu, who is fantastic. He's not doing it anymore, I don't think. They got somebody new in there. Some of the newer tracks are good. I'm more of a fan of the classic tracks, but yeah.
But you can now listen to Square Enix music on any of your streaming devices.
Mm-hmm. So they had a really fun trailer to kind of sell this, and as a woman, she ends up walking into the cafe, and like before that, there's a giant like brass band that like is setting up in the cafe, like they're going to be playing this like orchestra. And, she sits down at a table and she's like thumbing through Final Fantasy tracks. I loved it because they stopped on Final Fantasy VI, and I'm like, yeah, you know what's up. You know that's the best soundtrack. And then she's just got the earbuds in and she starts playing the music and everyone's like, huh? What? Huh? And she just gets up and walks out. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was kind of funny.
Nice. No, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. So like a fun little thing where they just like came out on stage and said, "Hey guys, all the Final Fantasy music is on Spotify now," but they ended up making a little trailer for it.
So
yeah, super cool.
If they begin the conference with Final Fantasy VII Remake,
mm-hmm.
You gotta end the conference with something big. And
you need something epic.
And they did.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got a chance to see. We didn't see any gameplay, but we saw a really good cinematic trailer for the Avengers game they've been working on.
Oh yeah.
So, I gotta be honest. I wasn't screaming, but I definitely jumped out of my seat.
the 8-year-old in Dan Robinson was jumping up and down.
Yeah,
the adult was self-composed.
Especially when they said that this was a brand new story, not tied to the comics, not tied to the MCU, just like Spider-Man. This is a brand new story. The characters are they're focusing on 5 characters right now: Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, Bruce Banner / the Hulk.
Yep.
And then
Thor and Iron Man. Yep.
Well, Thor. I said Iron Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there is no Hawkeye, sadly. He didn't make the cut.
Yet. They did say they will add characters as they go.
That is true.
They will add characters.
That is true.
But they're not, again, the personalities will be tweaked a little because they're not going to be the personalities from the MCU. They're not going to be personalities from the comics.
So I have to say that. And I know it was never going to be that.
And the character design. So
sure. Like I knew it was never going to be that. I knew it wasn't going to be the
just
guys
like
from the MCU. It's not going to be modeled after the people from the MCU. Right, because they don't have those licenses. It'd be very expensive to get their likenesses and to get them to voice the characters and all that. But it just like it threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like Chris Evans. That doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. I was like, oh, it's gonna take some time for me to get used to that because I'm still like I've been 10 years with these people, right? The MCU has been around for a while, so you kind of get it in your head that Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. But that chapter has come to an end, so
I got to be honest. When they said this is going to be a whole new story, I was hoping it. I was hoping it didn't tie into the MCU because that chapter is closed, by all accounts, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to see them anymore. I want something fresh, something new. Spider-Man, the game, has nothing to do with Tom Holland, right? Like Tom Holland's a high school kid. Spider-Man in the game is a young adult in his 20s. So
for
it's
some
totally
reason,
different.
For some reason, Spider-Man didn't rub me the wrong way. Maybe it was because there's only been really like a movie or two that had Spider-Man in it. Maybe like 3. Civil War, the 2 Infinity War movies, and then
And
Homecoming.
Well,
I guess.
Infinity War and Endgame, you mean?
And Infinity, well, yeah, that's like 2 movies. Yeah, exactly. Those are 2, and then like Homecoming. So there was like 4, in the span of like 2 to 2.5 years, maybe. So I don't know what it is, but it felt a little weird.
Well, I was excited. I mean, basically, it's like Avengers Day. They're in San Francisco. They're being celebrated. Then there's some commotion on the Golden Gate Bridge. They go fly over, try to stop the bad guys, and there's some new power source that's sort of in the Avengers jet that the bad guys want to steal, and they end up blowing it up, and it blew up half the city, half of San Francisco, and now the Avengers are outlawed, right? And this is 5 years later. I don't know what's up with Marvel and telling a story 5 years later. Everything's 5 years later. Spoilers if you haven't listened to the Avengers spoiler cast we did, and Endgame spoiler cast. Everything happens 5 years later.
Yeah,
so
I don't think that's a huge spoiler, but yeah, fair to note that.
So 5 years later, Earth faces a great threat. Then the Avengers now have to pull themselves together and come together, maybe, to fight this threat, right? I'm all for it, and it's a star-studded voice actor cast too. I mean, you got Laura Bailey, you got Nolan North, you got Troy Baker, to name a few.
Heavy hitters.
So you got heavy hitters. I'm looking forward to this game.
It looks dope. Looks like a straight up AAA title. It's
I think it's gonna. Let's hold the brakes just yet. We didn't see any gameplay. No gameplay.
Well, gameplay is based on the cinematic trailer. It looks like a AAA title.
I'm hyped for the cinematic trailer, but I want to see gameplay. How are we going to play? Like, is it? Sure. Am I playing as all the characters for different missions? I mean, we already know if you're playing multiplayer, you get to pick your character and level up. Everyone gets to pick character, and as they add new characters, I think you can switch it. They said. But
so if that's the case, if you can play multiplayer together, then you're going to be doing missions together with other characters. Obviously, I'm going to assume that you can just like tap the triggers and switch between characters on the fly, or before each mission, you would choose which hero to play as. I could see it going like one of those 2 ways.
Well, they did make an emphasis to say there is no pay to win. There's no loot boxes.
Yep.
So
all the DLC is free.
All the DLC is free as of right now.
That was nice.
As of right now.
It's sad that they had to announce that and that people were like going crazy over it, but it's good that they're not nickel and diming you. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be on a PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia, coming out March 15th of 2020. By all accounts, it looks like Sony has the marketing to this, because they did announce that if you buy it on a PS4, you'll get exclusive stuff just to the PS4. So, and for everyone who's all up in arms over that, Cyberpunk 2077 seems to have Xbox marketing.
Exclusivity, right? So, that's why it was on their stage and all that.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
All the Cyberpunk commercials I see now have the Xbox logo on it. Right, it makes it think it's an Xbox game. So I'm sure they're going to get exclusive content too. So everyone pump the brakes. So I'm all for it. I'm looking for it. I thought Square-Enix conference as a whole was really, really good. Like, I was super happy with it.
It was much better than last year's, which was like, what are you even showing?
Well, and last year was just a direct, right?
So but
they got their feet wet.
Yeah, it was definitely very poor. This was solid out of the gate. I think they threw a lot of punches. They ended strong. It was
So let's talk about the Kind of Funny Games showcase.
The second annual
showcase. This is where they showcase highlight a bunch of indie games.
Yeah, a lot of indie games.
I think it was like over 60. Eat your heart out.
They said over 60 indie games. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Heart out, Xbox. They got over 60 indie games.
Most of the stuff was either new or not shown on any other stage.
Well, no. Some of it was new at the end. Towards the end, they said what was new, right? That was never shown before,
Mhm.
or something like that. But some of it was been in development, and we've heard about it, or we've seen little snippets of it.
Well,
Um,
unique to the E3 conference, right? Kind of Funny
yes,
Games was the only
correct,
one like showing this stuff off. Yeah.
correct. Now I don't want to go through all 60 games. We'll be here forever, but I just want to highlight a few.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little game that we saw at PAX and played, and that is Freedom Finger.
Yeah. Well, you got to play it actually. Yeah.
Yes, you are a middle finger. This is a shoot 'em up. This is a shmup,
Yep.
and you're a middle finger.
Side-scrolling shmup.
You're a,
Right? You
you're
shoot out
a
lasers
middle-
out of your middle finger. That is your ship. It's really ridiculous. One of the cool things they wanted to highlight was you could use any enemy as a weapon, right? There's a way to like grab the enemy.
the middle finger can grab an enemy. This is awesome. Only in video games, I tell you.
I know,
Oh, man.
right? It's pretty wild. The only game that I know of that you can play is a middle finger.
The only game I know you can play is the middle finger.
Yeah.
There was another game, Wave Break. So I thought this was cool because I mean you're an animal. Well, we haven't had a wave race game. Let's just put it out there. I haven't had I love Wave Race, right?
Mm-hmm.
I loved it on N64. It was one of the 3 games I had.
Right. This is technically not a racer in that way. It's more of a Tony Hawk trick style game with a jet ski as your vehicle, which is like kind of cool.
I mean,
But
Jet
yeah,
Ski
it-
Moto, Jet Ski Moto 1, 2, and 3 I had on the PS1. Wave Race I had
Jet
on-
Moto, yeah.
Jet Moto, sorry, Jet Moto 1, 2, and 3 I had
Wave
on the
Race,
PS4.
right. And then
And Wave Race.
not much more after that, right? Those are really like the big standout jet ski games.
I think the last big jet ski game was the one on the GameCube.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, Blue Storm, Wave Race, Blue Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about forgotten franchises, where's the new Wave Race game? Come on, how great would that be on the Switch?
Listen, that's gonna be E3 Nintendo Direct 2020.
One can only hope, Dan. One can only hope. But I'm super hyped. You know, the visuals are nice and bright, and they have like a kind of retro wave chill soundtrack. I am all about this when this comes out. It's going to be digital only for now. Hopefully, at some point in time, we'll get a physical. But
We're gonna get a
I think I'm just
physical
gonna
of-
buy it.
We're gonna get a physical of Freedom Finger. Limited
You
Run's
think?
gonna put out a physical finger.
You think?
Finger.
They're going to come out with a
in the
special
Direct next
edition in the
year.
shape of a finger. That's what it's going to be, and you're going to have to get it.
No, they're gonna have a special edition. It's gonna be a mannequin with a finger, a little
Oh my God.
mannequin with a middle finger out. That's what
Yeah.
it's gonna be. Well, speaking of wave races, Wave Break again, like Tony Hawk and jet skis.
Mm-hmm.
But they did have a skateboarding game called Skatebird.
Yep. You are a skateboarding bird. Say no more. Like that's what it is. Nice kind of cartoon visuals. It's real kind of like there's not a lot of textures. They're all just kind of shaded. Flat. Not a flat, but like single color shaded is like kind of the style you play as a cartoon bird. Right, kind of like think like a Sam the Eagle type situation, right? And you just do like tricks and whatever around these skate parks. It's interesting because we have Wave Break, which is the same kind of Tony Hawk trick to trick mechanic, and then we have Skatebird, which is straight up Tony Hawk, but what you're playing as a bird in this situation. But the visual is super charming. I don't know.
You know what they should do? You know what they should
Yep.
do? They should do a mashup. Okay, they should do Skate Finger, a middle finger on the skateboard.
There you go. It's the crossover that nobody wanted.
The crossover no one knew they wanted. No one knew they wanted. Then we have another game, The Gardens Between.
The Gardens Between.
Sort of like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Like
Looks
a-
like
like
it's
a puzzle
like
game.
a cute puzzle adventure, digital only. I believe it's coming to PlayStation and also PC. PS4 and PC, I think. It looked kind of cool. You know, we don't necessarily get a lot of puzzle adventure games, so when they like do come out, I'm kind of hype about it. We really just saw like I want to say a cinematic trailer, you know, a nice little like cut trailer. Definitely one to watch. You know, I forget when this is coming out. I think it's either, I want to say it's 2020. I think it's early 2020 for this game.
And lastly, another game I want to highlight. It's a game that you got to play at PAX.
Oh my god!
A game that I didn't get a chance to play, and that's the dual hand tracker.
A dual hand tracker, yeah. There were so many puns in this game. It was ridiculous, right?
Now explain to me what this game is again, because I was confused watching you play.
I am still confused, Dan. So basically, the left-hand side of the screen, or the left stick, is a Galaga-style shooter. And on the right-hand side is like a Centipede-esque avoidance game that you use the right stick to control. And basically, you need to play one game to get energy that's supplied to the other game, right? So the left-hand game, you will shoot down ships, which will produce like little energy crystals or whatever in the game on the right-hand side. And you have to, you know, shoot down the enemies, and then when you flip over to the right-hand side, you have to pick up the crystals, which power the ship on the left-hand side. I think power your guns or your ammo. And you have to keep going back and forth, and you have to not die in both games. And that is the game. You really have to sit down and play it because it's just bananas.
I thought I thought on one side, I literally thought like one was a shmup on one side, and the other side you were like trying to get to a safe zone and you couldn't.
Yeah, really, it is. That's exactly it. That's like exactly it.
Yeah. I was just like, that's interesting. Yeah. And you're moving at the same time. It's like part of me is like, I want to stop and do this, but if you stop, you can get killed on this side.
Exactly. And as soon as one side dies, that's it. It's game over. The other thing to note is that the dad puns in this game are on like a whole nother level. Like every single couple of seconds, there's another pun. Nice. Even like the name is a pun too, and the name of the damn game is a pun. And, you know, this guy, I mean, Dan says I'm old, right? Dan says I'm old. Even though there's a 2-year difference between us. But I have dad joke.
2 plus 15.
Oh, God. So I have dad joke. I have dad joke sensibility. Would you call me GFG, Grandpa?
You're a GPG,
Grandpa gamer. Oh, my God. Get out of here.
I could just see. I could see the logo now. Lowercase g, uppercase p, lowercase g.
You can see the logo on the shirt that I'm not going to wear. Is that right? Because that's how that's going to go down.
Grandpa gamer.
Oh shoot!
So we only covered a handful of games. If you want to see the whole list of over 60 indie games, you can go to Kind of Funny Games Game Showcase on a YouTube channel. They had a lot of games, a lot of indie games that I really was interested in, and we'll talk about it through the coming weeks. But let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to dive deep into the Nintendo Direct. And we're back. Let's talk about the Nintendo Direct, E3 2019.
Now, is it safe to say that the Nintendo Direct was the best showing at E3 this year? Is that fair to say?
I'll save my thoughts on who I thought was the best next week. But I will say this Direct was amazing. And it started off with a bang. It started off with Smash Brothers. We got to see. We thought we were getting one new character. We got multiple characters, I think, because we got Dragon Quest 11, the hero from Dragon Quest 11. I think his name is Hero.
Well, the hero of Dragon Quest period is always just named hero because you get to play that character. And
so you're the hero, basically.
Oh, exactly. So every single game, you are the hero. I think maybe the original guy was like Loto or Roto, maybe, but it doesn't matter because you get to name him like at the outset of the game, and there's no default, I don't think, for the character. So literally, the character in Smash, he was announced as hero, which is like super awesome, and we got to see all of the different costumes for Hero. So
different characters of Hero from other Dragon Quest games.
Well, right. Yeah. So there's going to be, I believe, 8 different
heroes.
Unique heroes characters that you can
or
play
Echo
as.
fighters, essentially, or trophy fighters or something.
Well, I mean, they're going to be in the game as different character skins. But I think it's going to be like on the card is going to be like the hero, and then you choose you want the DQ1 hero or the DQ3 hero. I thought that was awesome, right? Because they had the guy from 11 come out, and then they also had like 1, 3, and 4, and I think like 5 was in there, and I'm like, oh, holy shit! Like I was bugging out. Like that was a good level of fan service right there.
So this was sort of rumored a while ago, right?
Sure.
That there would be maybe a Dragon Quest, the hero from Dragon Quest 11.
Yep.
In Smash Brothers. So this came to life.
Had some rumors, I think, earlier in the year, maybe around like January or maybe late December last year, and I was like, that would be awesome, right? Because Square is copacetic with Nintendo now. Dragon Quest is on Nintendo products. Like, why not? Feels like a good
but
match.
this is coming summer. So between next 3 months, we'll get this. We'll get all those Dragon Quest characters. But I gotta be honest. One of my top highlights of the Direct is when they introduced Doug Bowser.
That was your highlight?
That was one of my highlights. Listen,
wow, we have very different taste, Dan.
Listen, they brought out Bowser with a tie, and as soon as they did that, I knew they were going to do. They were introducing Doug Bowser, and I loved it when it was like, no, you're the wrong Bowser. It's him. Oh, are you guys related? We get that all the time. So I thought that was cool. He doesn't have the charisma as Reggie, but
nobody can be Reggie. Let's be
nobody
honest.
can be Reggie, but I want him to be Bowser. I want him to be Doug Bowser. He was pretty good. He was okay. Like he was. I really liked him, and I'm gonna give him a chance. I want everyone to give him a chance. I thought this was awesome, and then
I'm not hating on him. He seemed like he was enthusiastic. He knew what he was talking about. It wasn't just corporate chill, And
then after the Direct, they sort of had him on the mic, throwing to the Treehouse guys. Listen, just his personality, he seems genuine. So I want to see how they. I want to see Puppet Doug Bowser. I want to see if he can be silly.
Oh, boy.
We got to see Puppet
we didn't get
Reggie.
to see Puppet Reggie, but Reggie can pull that off because Reggie is the man. I'm sorry, Reggie is a special beast. All right.
So we special. He's a special beast. He really is. We got Luigi. We got gameplay footage now of Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm excited. I like the original Luigi's Mansion. On this one, you get the co-op play with Gooigi.
That's right. Gooigi. It's the plasma goo, ecto goo version of Luigi. Adds a bunch of new mechanics. He can go places that regular Luigi can't go, like through chain link fences, down a drain, over spikes, because he's made of goo. He can just kind of slurp around them, right? So that's kind of neat.
And when you do co-op, you have different color Luigi's, just like Mario, right? Like Luigi started as second player green.
Yeah, he was just a different color, right?
He was just a different color Mario. Luigi. So now we have different color Luigi's. He's finally made it. He's made it. You got different color Luigi's.
That's right.
Also, they had the new mechanic, right? You have the two new mechanics where you can have the plunger, and you shoot the plunger, and you can like pull down walls and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Same with enemy shields. You can pull those off.
Or you can when you're like trying to capture a ghost, you can now Hulk smash it. Right,
oh, that's
to knock
right.
it out.
That's right.
So I thought that was cool too. I really like that. I'm about that. I'm disappointed we didn't get an actual release date. It just said 2019.
Right.
So I don't know how ready the game is. It may get delayed, but I'm hoping it's an October release. We'll get like a direct at some point.
Yeah. I mean, October would be fantastic to coincide with Halloween. That's really what they want to hit. Worst case scenario, I'd probably say it gets pushed to November. It's got to be out before December, right? They got to get it out for the holiday season because, obviously this is a E for everyone game. It's good for the kids. It's good for adults. It'll have a little bit of challenge in there, but, not anything that's really going to like, it's a game that everybody can play. It's a game that's going to make a lot of money. So they want to get it out as quick as possible so you can get it under the Christmas tree. So
the original Luigi's Mansion came out in September, which is still
original Luigi's Mansion was a launch title for the GameCube.
Yeah, and it came out in September. So I guess this could. I don't know if this would be a September release because if it was, they would have announced it, right? They announced every other game that's coming out in September. So I would think this could be a December release too. Don't forget they released Smash Brothers and
December 6th of 2018. Yeah, that's right. They're
not afraid to release
2018, 2017, 2018.
Well, Smash Brothers came out in December of 2018.
That's right. Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles came out in December of 2017.
That was the 2 years ago.
So they're not afraid to release the game in December. Just be aware it's not going to be nominated for any game award.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think this is going to be top on the list. There's some strong competition, Dan. Some strong competition.
Then we got it. We got something that we've been waiting for. Link's Awakening remake. I know you were hyped for this.
Are you okay?
I was hyped for this.
Okay?
I was really hyped for this.
So was I. I mean, I think everybody was amazed when they threw up the teaser trailer. I think at the last direct or 2 directs ago, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is fantastic!" We got some gameplay. They showed a lot more scenes in the game,
and it's coming out in September. It's coming out September 20th. That is the main thing that I wanted to know. When were we going to get our hands on this game? They said it was a 2019 game. I was fearing that it may be delayed. I mean, they announced it pretty early, and I was like, this is probably not going to get released in 2019. But it is. Mm-hmm. It's coming out in September.
Yeah, and they're adding some new gameplay, some new mechanics to the game. You can make your own dungeons that you can crawl through and get special items.
It's like Zelda Dungeon Maker.
A little bit, yeah. Like they had like a pixelated heart, and there were different dungeon pieces that you would put together to make a level. I'm going to assume that you pick up pieces to build a dungeon throughout your gameplay. As you go through and you start beating levels and you're going around the world, they'll have them hidden all around.
No, you can't make your dungeon like you do, like you make a level in Maker, but Mario you can Maker. Sort of mix and match dungeon levels, right? That's exactly already, so you can have endless amounts of different dungeon combinations. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was that's awesome.
Yeah. It's very, very, very surprising. I thought it was just going to be a visual overhaul with all the same kind of mechanics in the game, but here we are.
We get a trailer for Trials of Mana. It's coming out early 2020. Mm-hmm. We got a stealth drop. Well, we got a stealth drop for the Mana Collection, which was already out in Japan, but it's localized. It's on the eShop now. You can get the first 3 Mana games.
Yep. That's all the great SquareSoft titles. The Mana series has been going all the way back to Secret of Mana, Legend of Mana. There's like a ton of them. So I'm kind of hyped for all this. I'm about it. We also got a quick drop of Romancing Saga 3. The old school RPG. Looks a lot like, I'm pretty sure they took a lot of inspiration Octopath Traveler did for their game, because it looks a lot like Romancing Saga 3. First time in the States. Super hyped for that. So that's going to be on the Switch, probably digital. So I'm getting all of it, Dan. I'm getting all of it.
Then we got Fire Emblem Treehouse. We got a trailer for that. That's coming out in July 26th. Something that I am now curious about.
Yep.
We got Resident Evil 5 and 6. It's coming in the fall. This could be a October drop, probably all digital.
Yep.
And probably going to be overpriced. But
yeah, we talk about the Switch tax, and we said it with how it was one of the Resident Evils was like $40 on PlayStation and $60 on Switch. Why? There's no reason.
If they release it physical, I may jump in. Because Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 are just unplayable for me because they're spooky games. Okay.
Oh, Dan gets scared. He needs his blanket. Aww.
I need my grandpa gamer.
I'm not going to sit there and play the game with you. You play the game in your own time, son.
But
all right.
But Resident Evil 5 and 6 are up my alley because they're more action based.
Oh, they are very much kind of run and gun shooting games. For better or worse. I thought 5 was really good. I thought 6 went a little too far. But maybe that's just me. It's still fun. All right, don't get me wrong. 6 is still fun, but it's definitely not Resident Evil. It's different. It's something different.
Then we get a trailer for a new No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, that was bananas. Way out of left field.
Well, he did say if Travis Strikes Back sold well and made a good profit, then he would, he can help fund or help make No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
It must have sold well. I bought it. I didn't really like it too much, but I did support him.
So, No More Heroes is specifically to the Nintendo, right? It's not on any other system.
1 and 2 came on Wii.
Yeah, which is it's great to see that, there's still exclusive third-party titles like kicking around out there.
But something that I was like, well, the worst kept secret. This is the worst kept secret. We've heard rumors about this forever. The Witcher 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and not just The Witcher 3, but it's the complete collection, and it's coming this year.
Yeah. We heard about it for a bit. It makes sense that it's going to be on the Switch. Like, why not? It's a game that's a couple years old, so they can make it work. The
visuals. I'm not gonna lie, the visuals are a little
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that to me before the show. I did notice they weren't. The hair wasn't like crazy, and obviously it's not.
Switch doesn't have the good hair physics. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have the good hair. No, it's Becky with the not so good hair.
I'm probably not gonna get this, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I thought I would, but after we discussed it and I thought about it for a second, The Witcher is such a big game, and I know even though they down-res the graphics, this is gonna have that download bar at the top, right? Like it has to, because
I don't think there's any way they'll be able to get everything onto a disc, considering that there's like a hell of a ton of free DLC among the 2 paid DLCs, right? On a game that was already like huge. So, yeah, man, I don't know. This is gonna be like huge. The extra download for it, I can guarantee.
I'm probably not gonna buy it.
Yeah. Have you played The Witcher much though?
Yeah, no, I have it both on PS4 and Xbox One. I have the complete edition on.
Have you played PS4. The Witcher much?
Yeah, I've played at least 6-7 hours of The Witcher.
No, that's nothing. Come on now. It's like a 100-hour plus game.
That's something for me. I definitely played like 7 hours of The Witcher. Both on Xbox One and PS4. I had to restart it.
Oh, Jesus.
So I played a lot of Gwent. In The Witcher. In The Witcher, too. I played a lot of Gwent.
Dude, Gwent is badass. I also spent a lot of time playing Gwent because I wanted to get those cards.
So the internet is very divisive on this next game. A lot of negativity about it, not just because of the visuals, but because who's making it. And we got. I was floored when I saw that we have a new Contra game, Contra Rogue Corp, coming out, and it's a release date. It's coming out September 24th. September 24th. Some of the visuals are. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the visuals are. I don't know what type of game this is trying to be. I thought it was a twin stick shooter, 3D twin stick shooter with some side scrolling elements. It was a little weird. And you had a panda? You had a panda with a machine gun too. The concept is cool. And we talked about Blazing Chrome that has a physical release, right? That's gonna have a physical release with Limited Run, a game that we both played. It's this old school Contra style game that I'm looking forward to that we both played at PAX. I don't know if I'm really excited for this game. I was a little shocked. I'm torn. I'm not beating it up I'm not gonna beat it up for the visuals. I'm gonna beat it up because I don't know really what type of game this is. I guess I have to let it sink in a little and then see if I can find some more gameplay footage of it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's probably going to ultimately be a pass for me because, it's Konami. What have they done good lately? Not much. Not much.
You know, like Metal Gear Survive?
No,
Survival?
I do not like Metal Gear Survive. As well as most of America. I think most people don't like.
Well, how about this?
Uh-huh.
This is a game I know you will like. And that's Damien X Machina.
Damon X Machina, that's right. The giant mech combat game. We got a trailer. We got a playable demo, I should say. Yeah, we got a playable demo earlier this year. It's super cool. I don't know if you got a chance to play it at all.
I played it a little. I wasn't. I was in the middle of playing something else. I forgot what I was playing at the same time. But I think the demo came out during the Game Awards, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were looking for feedback on the game, and I played it a little bit, but not enough to really give much feedback because I was, it came out during the holiday season, so I was in the middle of playing a lot of different things. And then Smash Brothers came out, and I definitely just didn't have time to play that. I deleted the demo off my Switch.
Oh, damn.
Because I didn't have enough room for it. I'll pick up the games. Come out September 13th. Yet another September game. And September is a lot of heavy hitters, right? Because
it's jam packed. Yeah,
September is jam packed because we got Gears, Gears of War. We got not the Handsome Jack collection, Borderlands 3, right? That's coming out in September as well. A lot of games are coming out. A lot of games are coming out in September. We got a Zelda remake coming out in September too. So
yeah, man, it's going to be a stack fall. It's going to be a very stack fall.
We did get some Panzer Dragoon.
Yep.
So
remember that game from way back in the day?
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Now I couldn't tell if this was like a new game, but by all the Panzer Dragoon aficionados out there on the internet,
they said it was a remake.
They said it was the first one. It looked like a remake with new visuals.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's coming.
I would definitely defer to the I would defer to the fans on that one.
It's coming out this winter, so this is probably definitely a December game.
Yeah, the last time we got a Panzer Dragoon game was on the OG Xbox back in like 2002, 2003.
That would be
so.
Correct.
It's been a while. It's been a
while.
while. Panzer Dragoon Orta was the last one in the series. And, I mean, this new one looks great, Compared to the old Saturn visuals, I mean, forget about it. It's beautiful.
We got a release date for Astral Chain, right? It's coming out August 30th. It might as well just be September.
Yeah.
Just be September. Yeah. And that's a game I thought that came out of nowhere in a earlier direct this year. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I think this is the guys, the development studio that did
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta, that's right. The Bayonetta guys.
It was Bayonetta.
Platinum Games, that's right.
Yes.
Platinum Games. So that should be super cool. Combo heavy, all that kind of good stuff. Lots of action. So
we're getting another Marvel game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We already knew this was coming out July 19th. We got another cinematic trailer. This time we see Magneto with an Infinity Stone, which is a little weird to see Magneto with an Infinity Stone talking about. I don't know if this is going to save us from Thanos.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not because it's motherfucking Thanos. I mean, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like that feels like real out of like place to you. Just like when I saw the Avengers trailer during the Squaresoft conference, I was like, it's not Robert Downey Jr. It feels off.
It feels off, but it's awesome. It's something different, something new. I'm all about it.
Indeed.
I'm definitely picking this up.
Yeah.
A game that I'm going to look to pick up in the next 2 days, because I don't know why they didn't just stealth drop it like they stealth dropped the Contra collection that's actually coming out, which I forgot to mention. We got the Contra collection coming out on top of the Mana collection.
That's right.
Out,
that's right.
That's out today. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so we knew that the Contra collection was coming out. It's not exclusive to Switch, but it is on the Switch. I think Switch.
It is on
PS4,
the Switch. $20 if you want it.
Right, and you get all the classic Contra games. You get the Genesis version hardcore. You get Contra Super C. I think some of the Game Boy ones, maybe Super Contra 3, and a couple other ones. So it's a pretty solid collection. It's digital only right now, sadly, but
well, all the collections are digital only, which is definitely sad.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense why they're all. It's like, why are you
it's
all?
Cheap. It's cheap to put that out. You know, there's no cost for the cartridge.
Yeah, this is just Konami being Konami. It's just Konami being Konami.
Konami being Konami. Mm-hmm.
They always find a way to screw something up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
They just do.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. But you are getting a bunch of country games. I'm gonna pick those up. But a game again that should have been stealth dropped. They're waiting 2 days for it. I don't understand. Is the Cadence of Hyrule?
Right.
It's coming out June 13th.
Right. This is the Crypt of the Necrodancer / Zelda crossover, which super cool. Rhythm-based action game.
The only thing I can think of, they have the Treehouse Live because they're gonna have 3 Treehouse Lives today, tomorrow, and on the 13th. So maybe they want to have it. Not Friday, Thursday. Yeah. Maybe they want to have it for the Treehouse Live, right? Something to play that they could play and showcase stream. So that's the only thing I could think of. So we got that. We got another Mario and Sonic game, Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, Tokyo. It's coming out in November.
Yep.
I don't think anybody was hyped about that. I'm sure when the Switch
they've been doing it since 2012 in the London Olympics, so you know,
I'm sure when the Switch is I'm done. I'm sure when we get to the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro, this will probably be like a $200 game because no one it. Or I could be underestimating the Olympic fans.
Dan, you say that about every game. You realize only some games can get elevated to that $200 status.
You know why I buy Just Dance every year, and I'm going to buy Just Dance for the Wii.
Yeah,
it's going to be Little Samson one day.
You're gonna. It's not because you're gonna continue to be to buy this game because they're never not gonna stop making it for the Wii. Just Dance is always gonna be on the Wii.
Just Dance 2023 on the Wii. We got now for all the Animal Crossing fans. They showed off an extended trailer, Animal Crossing. It was delayed because they're not. They want to make sure it's perfect to March 2020, which kind of makes sense. 2020, right? So it's a little different. Animal Crossing's more about like home building, right? And this seems to be you're like stuck on an island by yourself, and you're sort of harvesting the resources around you, and then somehow, some way, you're meeting up with Tom Nook. I don't know. I'm not a big Animal Crossing fan. I will try it out. I have all the Animal Crossing amiibo.
Not my jam. Yeah, well.
I do have the original Animal Crossing. I don't have the Animal Crossing 3DS.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got the new Leaf. I mean, you can find it. It's not a hard game to get. It did sell really well, so you can definitely find it out there. I got it super cheap when it came out. So
then they had a montage of a bunch of games. I'm not going to go through all the games. I'm just going to go through some of the highlights. They started off with Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Yes, this is a thing. Worst kept secret. We knew it was coming to the Switch. It's coming in September 23rd. The biggest thing about this game and why I mention it is because I want to know when the game came out for the Xbox One and PS4, it was only the original game on the disc, and you had to download Spyro 2 and 3.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see if all 3 games will be on the cart, or you're gonna have to download it. If you're gonna have to download it, I'm out.
I feel like that's going to be the case, Dan.
If they're on the card, I'm all in. I'm going to get it.
You better look in the corner and see if there's any sort of download notification on there.
Well, it could be just digital only too. Like that could be a possibility.
That's true because the cartridges are pricey, right?
Well, I think the 16-bit, the 16 gig carts are pricey. I don't know. I'm not into the.
I mean, it's pricier than a
part.
CD, is what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah. We listen. We pay a Switch price for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft Dungeons, right? We saw that at the Xbox showcase.
Yep. Also
We were.
coming to Switch. Makes sense.
I was curious if that new Minecraft game would be Xbox exclusive, but if it's going to be on a Switch, something tells me it's 100% going to be on a PC too. If it's on Xbox, something tells me it'll be on the PS4. So it's good to see that Minecraft is still going to be multi-platform.
Mm-hmm.
Also found out. I definitely confirmed this that Psychonauts 2 will be on the PS4 as well. So that's because it was a development anyway for all platforms. Well, Microsoft and PlayStation, they're going to keep it that way, even though now Microsoft owns Double Fine. Doom Eternal, we saw the trailer for that. We saw Wolfenstein Youngblood, and new Super Lucky's Tale. A game that was an Xbox exclusive is now on the Switch. Don't know that it's now the original game is called Super Lucky's Tale. This is new Super Lucky's Tale, so we don't know how this is going to work as far as is this new levels? Is this going to be a new game?
Yeah.
So if it's the same game, I'm not going to buy it. I like the original.
Did you liked it enough to possibly buy it again?
Yes.
All right.
I love my platformers, man. Come on.
I mean, so do I, but I like good platformers. This was a perfectly mediocre platformer.
This was pretty good. I like my 3D.
I thought it was on the same level as Yooka-Laylee, honestly.
Yooka-Laylee, no. I didn't feel Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah. Well, I felt it was the same here. Not a bad game by any means, but just not my jam.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Yooka-Laylee.
Uh-huh.
Yooka-Laylee, which was a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
One of the most beloved franchises ever. Was exclusive to Nintendo, right?
It was it had 1 and 2 nuts and bolts. Came out on N64.
Well, it was, It was exclusive back when
it's Rare. It's a Rare IP. Rare is now owned by Xbox. Xbox IP. We got a nice little trailer. We thought we were done with Smash Bros., but no, we're not done. We have another character has entered the fray.
Yeah, right. They snuck it in.
They snuck it in. And I like the bait and switch when they had the duck hunt dog and the bird to look like Banjo-Kazooie.
Yep.
And then it turns around and it's Banjo-Kazooie, or so we thought. I'm telling you, it's not Banjo-Kazooie. It's Banjo-Kazooie. It's Banjo-Kazooie's cousin. That's how they got Banjo-Kazooie in the game, because they didn't have to pay Xbox any royalties because it's his cousin.
You're taking this typo in the show notes to heart. You're really running with it.
It's hard to take notes and look and be excited at the same time.
Oh, I understand. Everyone was doing backflips. Your prediction from last year has come true. Banjo in Smash, right? Everybody wanted it.
It was awesome. They did the bait and switch. They did the bait and switch. I thought they could have. I thought the bait and switch would have been a little bit more meaningful if they would have let it simmer a little bit. So instead of starting off, I would have started off with Doug Bowser introducing him. Or Luigi's Mansion 3. I would have kept the Dragon Quest hero characters for last with Banjo-Kazooie. And then have the bait and switch, and it's like, it's not Banjo-Kazooie, it's the Duck Hunt dog, and then have the Dragon Quest heroes come out.
Right.
So everybody will be pissed for like 5 minutes or 4 minutes, however long they were showing them in the Echo Fighters, and then at the end have the Duck Hunt dog, and then just have them get smashed by an actual Banjo-Kazooie. And it's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah. I think that was the thing no one was expecting was the Banjo-Kazooie. All right, and that was a perfect way to end the conference, I think.
But so we thought. Well, first of all,
they had one more surprise.
Banjo-Kazooie will be coming out in the fall. Hopefully, it doesn't get delayed. But we had one more surprise. We had one more thing, and boy, was it a big one. We got a little glimpse into the next Zelda Breath of the Wild game.
Yeah.
And boy,
yeah.
I was going bananas. As soon as I saw the art style, I was like, this is Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about it. We talked about it on the show how they wanted to use the same engine again. They wanted to get more juice out of it. This definitely looks in the same vein as Breath of the Wild. A lot darker, right? What kind of spooky?
Well, they were in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's Ganon's castle, and it looks like a mummified witch of some kind. And it looks like purple slime is taking it over and bringing it to life. And then the castle is rising from the ground. And that's all we really saw. We did see Link and we did see Zelda.
Princess Zelda, yeah.
So it leads me to think maybe this will be more just like Majora's Mask, more of a linear game where it's in a specific area. It's not going to be as open world as Breath of the Wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Singular focus, and it may be co-op too. Could be co-op.
Yeah. Because it looked like you and Zelda were like neck and neck, hand in hand. It didn't seem like you were on a rescue mission. Didn't seem like it was the beginning of the game. It seemed like it was like right in the heart of the middle. If they have a multiplayer, we need to play this together then.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go hand in hand.
Oh, yes.
I got dibs on Link, too. I called it. So there you go.
They'll probably make Zelda more powerful because
that's fine. That's fine. I'm still saying dibs on Link,
you can be Linkle.
Link's my boy. You
can be Linkle. You can be Linkle. Nintendo had an amazing E3. I got to say.
It was great. They
came out swinging. I cried. I was very emotional, but one thing I wasn't, and I can't say this about any other conference, I wasn't bored at all. Well, I wasn't bored. 40 minutes worth of good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. All killer, almost no filler. That Super Lucky's Tale. Get
out of here! Super Lucky's Tale is awesome. I will buy it for your birthday so you can play it.
Yeah. So next week we are going to get into our kind of top conferences of the whole E3 week. We're going to get into our predictions and see who came out on top, who won, who lost, and all of that. So stay tuned next week. It's going to be a regular show, but we will do kind of an E3 post-game wrap-up just to kind of tie up any loose ends there. So, stay tuned for that. If you guys want to interact with us, and we know you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.